call you Ramonas.
Who cares?
They
I am a
will
Ramona.
say this is not the will of the people. But I see a lot of people out here, and I think there's a lot of will in this world, right? This fight is not over. This fight is just beginning. It's just beginning. My friend, Nigel Farage will never have given up, and neither are we. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, I say, for decent Conservatives. Wake up, I say, for the Labour Party. Wake up! Wake up! We have to join forces together. There are people from different political traditions in this audience. We stand together to fight this nonsense, to fight this madness, and to call it what it is. To call it what it is. I represent a part of London that has some serious economic problems. And as night follows day, this economy will downturn. It will. And that's the other reason why. Because in the end, when you look at the major actors who would take us to this hard Brexit, they're not the ones who are going to suffer. They're not the ones who aren't going to be able to pay their bills. They're not the ones who are going to wonder where the food's coming from. They're not the ones who are going to worry about the petrol prices. They will be fine. So we also stand in solidarity with those who maybe are unable to march. And I think many of you will have friends. There are some people who voted Leave. And I know why they voted Leave. They voted Leave because our economy in this country has changed. There are seaside towns. There are northern industrial towns and villages. There's very little left for them. The economy has gone down. There are low wages. There's stagnation. The young people have to leave and come to London. Our economy has been in a mess for some time. And then they're encouraged to blame the EU when the EU is giving you a bit of subsidy. The blame lies with successive governments. That's where the blame lies. Hardship and pain in this country. It is to acknowledge that a lot of people wanted to send a message because general elections they didn't feel they had a sufficient choice. I understand that. But the way to do this is not to punish the cause for which soldiers died in this country, and that cause is a united Europe. I say to you that right is on our side. I say to you, when you think of the better angels of the 20th century, you think of people like Martin Luther King, you think of people like Mandela, you think of Churchill fighting fascism. They would be on our side. Fight for the country you believe in. Today, fascism can be found in different places, but we unite on behalf of Europe. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Sue Wilson!
Ciao.
¿Dónde está?
Ciao.
The EU and the UK and they stand to lose so much more. They stand to lose their home. your routine, your social life, familiarity and security, the things that make it home. That's the things that people stand to lose. Now imagine, as a result of a vote that you did, any saying, you may have to move not only to another town, but to another country. A country that you don't recognise anymore. A country where the weather is worse, where your health is worse, where your life expectancy is less. The weather is detrimental to your health. You can't afford to buy a property. You can't afford to rent a property. And you would have no access to healthcare for 6 months, regardless of your state of health. That is the fate that awaits hundreds of thousands of pensioners that could be forced back to the UK if the UK government refuses to continue to pay for our healthcare or to upgrade our pensions on an annual basis. Imagine the impact of hundreds of thousands of pensioners coming back to the UK, the impact that would have on the social care system and on the already struggling NHS. But it's not all about pensioners. Only 1/3 of Brits that live in Europe are pensioners. So the other 2/3 are young people, middle-aged people with jobs, careers, businesses, families, children in schools. Their lives are at risk too. They have to be given the right to stay, but that alone will not be enough. Because apart from being allowed to stay, they have to be allowed to work, to study. They have to have their qualifications recognised. We are not bargaining chips. We are not collateral. We are not trade. We are not services. We are people, and our lives matter. The government is not listening to us. They say they speak on our behalf, but they don't. Because if they did, they'd be doing what we asked them to do. They'd be giving a unilateral guarantee to EU citizens in the UK, and they would be doing it now. Every Brit in Europe has been asking for that, and we think it's not only in the best interests of the UK, of the EU citizens, but we think it's in our best interest too. It would improve relations with the EU 27 at this very important time of negotiations, and it is the moral and just thing to do. The UK government started this nonsense. They should be the ones to make the first move. Brexit will be a disaster. It has to be stopped. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Over time, public opinion is going to change, and the government has to listen and to act according to the will of the people. Theresa May will have to take my freedoms and rights from my cold, dead hands. For the sake of the EU citizens in the UK, stop Brexit. For the sake of the UK citizens in Europe, stop Brexit. For the sake of the United Kingdom, stop Brexit.
Sue Walker, ladies and gentlemen, from campaign group Remain in Spain. What I'd like to let them know, you can find out if Remain in Spain falls mainly on the plane. Now, next up we have our next speaker. It's Joanne Panslop-Lana, a proud NHS nurse. Make some noise!
Hello. It's an honor to be here today to represent one of the best institutions we have in Britain, the NHS. I came here 17 years ago to take advantage of the freedom of movement that Europe have given to this country because you were short of nurses. Today, you're still short of nurses, but the government is telling me that probably I need to go. My future is uncertain, and at the moment, the situation don't look any better. I've been told that they want British nurses. I've been told that they no longer want Europeans. But what the governments do, they cut all the bursaries, meaning that no homegrown nurses can afford to go to university anymore. That's not the right to do it. I came here for 6 months, but I fall in love with this country. I fall in love with the diversity and all the cultures. NHS have more than 200 nationalities, and that's what makes it the best health system in the world. But now, that's under threat. The government, with austerity, have frozen our salaries. Nurses can no longer survive. We're forced to take second jobs. My salary and of my co-workers have been reduced by 14%. Meantime, the real ones who created the crisis, the bankers, have the ones who have benefited more, and they have an increase of 34% of their salary. In the last year, I've been told that I'm the cause, as a migrant, that there's not enough beds in the NHS. I've been told that no longer can have an appointment to the GP. I've been told that I'm the cause because you don't have a place for your children in the school. Let me be clear, Mrs. May, I'm not the cause of this problem. Austerity is. Europeans who live in this country, who love this country, and we pay taxes in this country. We have a net benefit of nearly 2 billion pounds. But don't tell me that we don't contribute to the society. I never feel any discrimination. I always feel part of the society. And I love that. My children are British, and always will love for that. And I will fight for this country because my passport says Spanish, but my heart is British. And for all my adulthood, I've been living in Britain. And let me be clear, Theresa May, I'm not going anywhere. We have formed a group called the 3 Millions. We're trying to collect these stories to put people behind the numbers. If you want to share your story with us, please go to our Brexit testimonies. We want to tell Theresa May that we are people with feelings, but we are not only 3.2 millions, because like me, a lot of us are married with British citizens, and it's affecting a lot of us, and it's breaking families, and that's not right. What the thing that makes Britain great is the diversity of everybody here. And I'm not going to let Theresa May to create a disunited kingdom, because united will be, and united will be in the future. Thank you.
What a fantastic reminder of what we're all here for. One more time for Joanne Panslop-Lana, ladies and gentlemen. A proud NHS nurse. Yes. Brilliant. Our next speaker is the author of a book called Hello, I'm Your Polish Neighbour. He's very active in the Polish community. Could you give a very warm welcome, please, to Wiktor Maciński? Come on.
Don't worry, it's just me and then Nick Clegg, and then you can warm up after that. I know you're all very cold, I am as well. As you say, my name is Wiktor Maciński, which means that I'm a Londoner. I'm from the Polish community, and as you are probably aware, it's the largest of the EU communities in this country. There's 916,000 Polish nationals in this country, and they are not bargaining chips either. They're also people. And they came over here, they joined the older Polish post-war community. Those are people like me who were born, the sons and grandchildren of those who fought alongside the British as sailors, as pilots, as soldiers against Nazi Germany. So we're all together. And you'll find the Polish community they'll be working in hospitals, in offices. They're all basically all around you. It's not just that they're employees, they also set up businesses. There are 87,000 Polish enterprises at the moment in this country. They contribute more than £2 billion to the UK economy every year. And then we have had this Brexit, in which incidentally none of them had any vote. And suddenly they find that they are now being, they don't know about their future. They are faced with increasing hate crime. It's up 50%, as we know from the statistics. They are now finding that they are being questioned about whether they have access to the NHS, even though so many Poles actually work in the NHS, social services. They find that they're not quite sure about the future of whether they can stay here or not. There are 187,000 Polish children in this country. All of them, most of you have got kids at school who've got Polish friends. Well, many of you, I'm sure, are Polish anyway. I have seen Polish flags here. So we're all basically part of the community. And those children are terrified about their future. And does that really make Theresa May proud to cause children, the tears of children, who don't know what's happening simply because of the way the politics is going? And why is it going like that? It's gone like that because for some reason, people who had voted Remain, both in the government and in Parliament, have suddenly been spooked. They've been spooked by the Brexiteers who say they have a democratic mandate. And that democratic mandate says, leave Europe, destroy the British economy, but Britain will be a sovereign state. Well, you know, with this democratic mandate, I mean, in the words of Shania Twain, it don't impress me much. Because that democratic mandate, I remember Hitler had a democratic mandate initially. Mussolini had a democratic mandate. Mugabe had a democratic mandate at one stage. But that democratic mandate was based on a democracy which was on the quicksand of fear and hatred and lies, a love of order and intimidation, something that divided society. You can't have democracy unless there are human rights, unless there is respect for minorities, that there is respect for opposition, unless you have checks and balances, with an independent press, an independent judiciary who don't get called enemies of the people because they make the decisions that years go by. At the moment, we now have a situation where Theresa May is saying we're going to go and break from Europe, Article 50. We have lost that battle for the moment. We have not lost the war. We must all remain steadfast, British, Polish, EU citizens, all of us, because at some stage the negotiations will reveal that actually we slammed the door in the face of Europe, but we're standing on our own. Well, we have Turkey, we have Trump, but there's nobody else who wants to have any dealings with us. And we're going to find that the British people will suddenly realise that there's no need for these higher prices, no need for a failing economy, no need for these new stiff borders. and they're going to look for different answers, and if we're steadfast, if we're together, we can give them that answer, and we can tell our lawmakers, reverse Brexit, end the madness, and for heaven's sake, let's stay in Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. I don't know whether you'll be pleased or displeased to know, but we are nearing the end. Displeased, that's good. That's very, very good that you're displeased. And needless to say, we tried to save the best to last. And we kind of, he's all right, really, given that he was, he was a Lib Dem and he was Deputy Prime Minister to David Cameron, who fought the referendum in the first place. But despite all that, I think you should give a very, very, very warm welcome to Nick Clegg.
One of you for coming on this march, for staying here, for standing up for the values of openness, of pluralism, of tolerance, of internationalism, and standing up for a European Union, which of course is not flawless, but has done so much to safeguard the peace and prosperity of our wonderful continent. So give yourselves a great round of applause. I'd also like, on your behalf, and I'm sure you'll want to join me, in paying tribute to the police and the emergency services who've done such a marvellous job today and have had to suffer such tragic, horrific circumstances just over there this early week. I'm deeply, bitterly disappointed and profoundly saddened by the outcome of the referendum last summer. But I tell you this, that sadness has given way to a perpetual sense of anger about the choices, and they are choices, that Theresa May and this government have taken since that day, the 23rd of June of last year. And they are choices. It was her choice and the choice of her government to take that mandate on the 23rd of June and convert it into a self-harming ideological mission to not only pull us out of the European Union, to pull us out of the single market. That was a choice. Transatlantic obsequiousness as she rushed across the Atlantic. And it was a choice that she has taken to ignore you and to ignore 16.1 million people. That is more than have ever voted for a winning party in a British general election. She has chosen to ignore you, and that must not stand. Do you know the Conservative Party won the last general election by barely scraping together less than a quarter of eligible voters in the country? They had a manifesto commitment to keep us in the single market, not to pull us out. And she certainly does not have a mandate to threaten to do what she is now doing, which is in an act of political pique. She is now threatening to turn our wonderful, sunny, beautiful country into a bargain basement, offshore, low regulation, low tax, low protection, low welfare. Disgrace! No mandate to do
to disperse back home across the country, the final question we need to ask ourselves today is, what do we now do? What do we do in the weeks and months and years ahead? And in my view, the most important thing of all is this. We have to hold these people to account. They have told the British people that they will receive £350 million per week in the NHS. They have told the British people that an economic utopia beckons. They have told the British people that a plethora of new, sparkling new trade agreements across the world, from Papua New Guinea to the United States, those precious trade links in our own European Union. But above all, we need to hold them to account for this. And this is the final and most important thought I want to leave with you. Young people don't want hard Brexit. Young people stay the right way. They came out in huge numbers, and 3/4 more of young people between the ages of 18 and 24 said no, we don't want to leave the European Union. This is not the future we want. And we need to hold this government, and we need to hold the Brexit press, and we need to hold these unaccountable vested interests in the Daily Mail and all those rotten newspapers to account. The future, which those who inhabit the future do not want. So hold them to account for the sake of our children and our grandchildren. To denigrate us, to delegitimise anyone and anything that stands in their way. But the fight for openness, the fight for a generous spirited attitude towards the world, a fight for the tolerance and pluralism that we all believe in, a fight for openness, tolerance and unity must go on. Thank you.
initiative which is being launched from Europe by Mecca, which sounds complicated, I know, but it's fantastic. It's better all of the other petitions because it's legally underpinned. So the European Parliament has to look, all the others are just informal petitions. So I'm not going to bore you with detail because it's been a long, long day. But one thing as well which is different is we want to collect signatures the old-fashioned way on paper. And that's why I need all of you, because we need a minimum of 1 million signatures. And it would be fabulous if we could get 17 million signatures, because then they will have the list. So please, can you look out for the initiative called Stop Brexit, as in person, as the other. There is a Facebook group, volunteers to register, and we will be offering videos and training you so you can learn how to get the signatures. Nice to meet you. See you again soon next month. Movement to get out of the country. You are you'll turn this country back to success again. Thank you.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, as we're afraid there's never going to be any confrontation.
politician, the police must have realised that. I mean, unless a few Britain First protesters turned up. So what happened? Yes. Yeah, I don't know whether they came out now. That's up to you. You can take it. Yeah, it takes photos, okay. E poi c'è, vabbè.